L'informé, fini informé, en toute franchise, pas mal informé, fini informé, en toute franchise, dans les a, qu'importe ce que t'as fait, ballon pour venir pour nous informer, get the bagaille, c'est la.
Same, definitely.
How do you envision the future of branding, especially in terms of promoting cultural awareness and social responsibility?
I think we're going to see, well, what have we seen so far? We've seen the content creation get distilled down to individual people on their cell phones. So I think the future is definitely going to see a lot more innovation in terms of AI and what people are able to kind of like conjure up on their own. I know that AI does scare some people. But for me personally, it me do business faster. There are certain platforms that do, if you understand how to use them, or you keep yourself abreast on how to use them.
Important.
Yeah, they do help you. You realize that they still need you. So I think that we'll see a lot more AI integration in branding. To say, I want a brand, I want my website to look like this, and it just produces it for you. There's technology that does some of that now.
Wow.
Yeah. So it can be. I definitely see more of that. And then, because right now content creation is so individual, I don't know. I'm not sure if we're going to see more of that. I think there's a certain level of exhaustion that exists too, with all of the individual people selling different things. I think social media has kind of turned into a place that is, it's like a marketplace essentially, and can exhaust people. So I'm not sure where in terms of dynamic content creation, but I do know when it comes to the intersection of branding and community, and also just being a responsible voice, the biggest ripple in that is going to be AI, more AI integration. And there are people who are trying to identify, like, there are court cases kind of being argued right now about artificial intelligence and using.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because people are. I don't know if you've ever seen it on social media where people take another artist's voice and they make them sing a song.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Or
Very familiar with that.
exactly.
Yes.
Or someone else's image of a president, but he got on this kind of but he's dancing to this song or whatever else.
Yes.
Those are all original pieces of work, because the person who did who either narrated it or drew it or whatever, that's their original creation. However, someone else's face and someone else's song is not. So yeah. So and there are cases that there are court cases on some of these matters right now. So yeah, I just think that we'll see more AI, and we should all endeavor to learn a little bit more, so that we can keep that integrous humanistic voice to the work as it becomes more savvy with technology.
My. Oh, kunya voye malapren. Oh, Jésus. Creolita fina pren apre sa wadi, man. I think that's the best y'all gonna get out of me. That's the best. Steph,
Yeah.
we are very, very super duper proud of you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
And of course, congratulations, on the decade, and we many more than we can only imagine, right? It's not easy, but listening to you explaining, teaching us, educating us, we can sense, we can feel, and we hear the passion, right?
Thank you.
So that's why we have no doubt the sky is the limit for you. Because I strongly believe, when you passionate about something, then you become determined, because it's not a job, it's just something you know it, you envision it. So therefore you give it your best,
Right.
the very best that you have. And of course, fagan kika empêcher pas faire. With that being said, what legacy do you hope to leave through your work in branding, inclusion, mental health, the Haitian community, and communities, other communities as well in the world? Why not?
There are, I don't see any limits. I don't see any limits. I really do.
I love that.
Yeah, I really do feel like I just want to be able. I think I'm on the precipice of just a new type of creative agency, one that has an arm that cares about wellness, one that has an arm that cares about storytelling and culture, and then one that has an arm that can potentially help people do this on their own or help them penetrate new markets. um I think I can do that work, and I think it can grow, and I think it can grow tentacles everywhere. um it doesn't necessarily even have to be that the Melanin Project itself must exist in all of these places. It could be strong partnerships, that carry some of this work beyond Brooklyn.
Very well.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am with it. And I don't see any limits. And so yeah, I definitely still want to make sure that I get into wellness. I do. We currently, our plans for a brick and mortar within like the next 2 years, that can double as a wellness studio where um, we can host yoga classes for the community. We can host history, a small library for people to read stories on their people. Like I think that's grossly underestimated, being able to have access to books with your stories. And so this is
Yeah.
some of what we're seeing in the future, and we're hoping for ourselves within like the next 2 years. But that's just Brooklyn. And then by the time we get there, the hope is that we can be other places through partnership until we can be there physically with a location.
Oh, good luck with
Thank
that.
you.
And I'm excited. And of course, now you stuck with me, so I'm watching. I'll commenting. I'll drop a note. I'm exciting to
Thank
see
you.
that. I'm exciting to see that. Now, Steph,
Yes.
ita palavo. What palem de cannabis? Sa cannabis la même.
Cannabis, yes. So
Oh, today, yes. Okay.
so the
Okay.
Melanin Project is my company, but I also work for the Brooklyn Chamber, and my function there is as a cannabis account manager. And one of the things that we do is just really provide support for people who want to open up their own cannabis businesses, their legal cannabis businesses. And help spread education on the matter. We really do just support innovation in the space. So in my own life outside of the chamber, I've been an advocate for cannabis for a few years, just in my own personal space. I do think that the plant has many, 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 many uses that often don't get considered. We only think of it in one way. But there's a lot of opportunity for growth economically with cannabis, and there's a lot of opportunity for it to be used medicinally, especially for our seniors. Tout moun gen douleur, rayon cassé, all kinds of stuff.
Kreolita te get ap dim li gen doule nan tout
You
kol. Mbo
see,
ko jam wè bagay ko sa, Steph. Iti ki lo te get doule sa. Yo, I'm telling
you get what I'm
you.
saying? But like sincerely, this might be where CBD can help. And we're not
Yeah.
even talking about THC for adult use. We're just talking about something that helps your body with pain. So I just think that there are a lot of different ways that we can talk about it. And if we think about how much agriculture matters to Haitian identity, to Haitian culture,
Mm-hmm.
marijuana just seems to be like if it's on trend with growing, then this might be something that we need to look into too,
Pa pale trop, parce mwen gata schedule la pou mwen. Lady Lynn, sak cannabis la, parce PZ deke ni kase isyo mwen dem sak cannabis. Di yo sak cannabis la mwen. Mba vle vwa mbare.
Bon. Mpa konen ki je di le Creole, non? Mpa konen.
Men mwen kap pale de Creole la.
Bon, depi lem de pale de Creole, am te djou, ni mwen ni ou put together, nou ba 50%, non? Nou just pa effort.
E pa li yore le weed la,
Oui,
non?
but weed is English, though.
Koun yo rive to lwen la.
Kliko non. Gade ki jem baka pose avet bagay la.
Koun yo ta vin fè mont la, weed li, koun ya men tou
Oui,
e pa li
non,
yo
kom si
di
jel kon lot,
Creole la.
non.
Non, weed yore lel, ou bien di tipay la.
Non, feel like kon lot, non. I feel like kon lot, non. Boys, many boys. E te mette la chat room nan, yes. Oui, boys.
No, buzz say like buzz, like you making a buzz,
No.
like
I'm telling you, boys. Te tout kon lot, no. Weed is English.
Ok. Se de sa na pale. Koun ya tout moun pral chen nou, mbezon ouvon business. Mwen men apont men nan anvan s'il vous plaît. Lem nan. But m'dako a so. Even Wyclef di li même lel gade kwa de boukel wè son bel kote. Ok. Full growing buzz. Mdi gade l gatan gen ide anvan. Mdi why a gatan bon mal anvan Wyclef. What? Wap jwe la. But yes, right?
Yeah.
It's bon, cause nou em Haïti, Haïtien, son perfect opportunity,
Yes.
right? Cause brain,
Yes.
it's not new, but I don't think li saturé, right? Gen kom si pile moun la de therefore ou pa ka entre and even then.
Right.
But it's a good investment. Ou kompren pou moun kap travay du. We briefly talk about this. Moi, mdi 9 to 5 is simply not gonna cut it. Moi, même si moun 96 ans bezon la marye la, mba travay, hopefully l gon bon other issue. Ou kompren parce mba ka fe 9 to 5 la. So, if there is an opportunity, of course, right? Because you're investing your money and it will be pretty hard to fail ou bien pour pas entrer l'argent là.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And it's legal, right? In most states,
Well,
like I would imagine.
It's definitely legal in New York. We're seeing decriminalization happen all over, and President Biden, State of the Union, did mention something about folks not having to go to jail for possessing or using marijuana. So we might be decriminalization or unscheduling of it, because right now federally it's still illegal and it's still a Schedule 1 drug, and that makes it difficult to do business across the states, right? And definitely not internationally. So and I don't know where CARICOM is on cannabis, but I think it brings so much money with it, that it is hard for us to not think that it wouldn't be good for a good industry for us to look to rebuild possibly our nation with.
And you know what's funny? While you say that, of course, demoiselle sak papa que le créole très bien, et nous t'a parlé, like, abroad, que c'est pas seulement America, but, Asia, parce que nous, on paquet côté, right? I mean, I think I have an answer, but we don't have any economic power. So therefore, nous pas qu'à camper pour nous dire non pas vle ça tout ça yo ba nous obligé pour because who are you, right? So I mean, if you in US of moi-même relève Jérusalem, but definitivement New York. I don't know why pendant ou fatigué quoi si tu savon l'argent you don't invest it. I simply, I mean,
exactly.
If you don't know, but now you do know. And m'a mette adresse her page, right? Steph info. You might want to look into it. It's important. Tant comme je moi-même quand set up appointment, m'a dit madame fait me set up parce que besoin pour deux bagages différents on the business side and then the branding side definitely. Ou comprenez et I guess Créole ta pas avec moi dans business là parce que m'ba les choix comme ni toujours malade, ça veut dire bien besoin. But and I know, I'm taking it lightly. It's just for you guys. But c'est vraiment, vraiment sérieux. Et Stéphanie dit ça. C'est une opportunité. Et c'est une bonne opportunité. And opportunité, it's now. And c'est pas tout le temps où je know moun cap jou ça, hey, li ouvri, mais gen opportunité. Because a lot of time, moun nan connaît gen opportunité, you just prend pour li and friends. And the inner circle and the family. So no attendez là en toute franchise. So yes.
Yeah.
There's women. There's nothing wrong to vle al investi l'argent en Haïti. That's on you, moi même pas ka compte. But maybe you might want to get the dollar here first. Après les Haïti bon, pas gen ke sauter, but in the meantime. But that's my thought.
And it's a great thought, and it's also important to note that the industry is horizontal, the landscape is horizontal. That means that you don't have to grow marijuana in order to be in the marijuana business. You don't have to sell marijuana to be in the marijuana business. There are people who have delivery companies, and they're technically in marijuana, right? There are people in cannabis. There are people who are marketers like me, and they're in marijuana. There are people who just own a building. They're a landlord, and they're in marijuana.
Wow.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's you could be a
Pas
janitor.
obligé vendre.
Yes,
Yeah, I get it.
You could be a janitor and decide I want to start a business where I help to clean dispensaries, or just I help provide delivery services for dispensaries, or I created this software that helps them do purchaser, and then that you would be in cannabis. You just wouldn't touch any plant, and those are the things I want us to get curious about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I do also have a separate email for that. But I can share that with you, and you can share.
Yes, please. And then my boy el bayo. Parce que, toujours tande, oui, m'gon business. Okay. Let's do things the right way. And, ta comme dit, get the difference, right? Ou font business, what man, it's pour font business, like, you making money. There is making money. Yeah, ou ka manger. And there is, ou ka manger au bois, ou de l'autre monde manger. Why not? Why not? And if it's green, because nous pas ka retenir c'est let tout monde fin entrer là dans laisse ça. Oh, because very often nous tande monde. Oh, there's une telle opportunité m'pas prendre mais c'est m'ta entrer là dans. Oh, c'est pas de cob m'ta fait. Well, you had the opportunity. And I'm excited for our generations, and especially with the one that are coming in. But c'est je ouvrir cogner là, and it's all about better financial status.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned something generational wealth. I think le n'a parlé c'est de ça n'a parlé kounya c'est pas oh m'gè $100,000 la banque wagon. You understand what I mean? So I think we are getting better quand il s'agit de financial literacy. We're not there. I think we can be more educated with it. However, we're not blindsided nous mettre l'argent en bas matelas or just can be bank pour faire pour faire jolie, but also looking into having assets, right? I think I think we are on the track, but we can no pas obligé like crawling all the time. And, we can walk, and why not run at le nous fin bien marcher. So I think that's important.
Agreed.
I think that's important.
Agreed. Most definitely.
What are some common misconception about cannabis that because you're in the business, right? You encounter, and how do you address them?
So I think a lot of people think that if you are in any kind of proximity to cannabis, that you are unmotivated. You are, there's like a type of, in people's minds, there's a type of person that uses either cannabis or works with it, sells it. And it doesn't you aren't someone who people think accomplish things. Right. And if you let tell it, it's crack. All of it's crack. So
Oh,
you
yep, that's
it's
crack.
everything is crack.
Yo, I love my people. I love my elder generations. Okay, if you're like a stomach, like
Yep.
what?
Yep. They were like,
Yeah.
c'est crack. So it's like there's that is like the biggest issue is that people thinking that you're really kind of a motivated. They're not expecting a
Son
certain
bomb.
yeah, you're a bum. They're not expecting a certain level of ambition. And so that's really kind of it. How do I navigate around it? I don't meet people and say, hey, I'm in cannabis first.
Okay.
People often meet me and they're like, oh, you did this, you did this, you did this, and then I tell them I'm a cannabis enthusiast. I work in cannabis business development. um I've used cannabis myself, and they're often like blown away, like, how did you achieve this? And
Wow.
I'm like, well, there's a difference between use and abuse. That's one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're
Yeah.
abusing it, chances are you probably won't be able to do what you need to do. But then two, like, there's just there everything isn't psychoactive, like sometimes I take CBD just to sleep. That's
Yeah.
technically cannabis. you know
Mm-hmm.
and so I think when people meet me and they engage my work, or they engage me in some space, um and then they learn about the cannabis, I think in their minds, it kind of breaks down what they believe a person who is in that space is, right? And that's the most I can do for them, because I think any other stereotypes you're gonna have to really any of the stereotypes that you might hold in your mind, like, that's work for that person.
Yeah.
There's very little else I can do other than say these are the facts about cannabis. If I'm in the space, and I'm no bum. Anything else you have in your head, really
Yeah.
is for you to sort out, in my opinion. So
Mm.
but really, I
Yeah.
just offer education, and I live it. I walk it and talk it. So folks can learn a new way through me.
I like it. I
Hmm.
like it a lot. Now, I know you mentioned that, hey, of course, it's a great opportunity, right?
Hmm.
Pour entrer dans là. And of course, there are different ways. Ou ba obligé à vendre ni pour entrer
That's
là-dedans.
right.
But briefly, what are the potential economy impact on that industry itself, right? Both locally and globally, because I
Oh,
mean, a lot of junk food
oh
fed. I'm
my
just
goodness. I think, and I wish I had the number in front of me. But
oh, that's cool.
yeah, listen,
Oh,
the state based on the marijuana tax revenue coming back, now that we have all of these shops that are opening up, and that money's coming back. They're going to make so much money this year. It's nuts. I think already for the first 2 months, as of like the mid February, they were already at like $28 million or something already.
ooh,
So,
ooh.
I mean, oh no, excuse me, no. They were on track to beat their last year they made 128 million. By February, they already hit 24 million. So, we already know that they're going to beat that number faster. And with the more
Wow.
dispensaries, the more businesses that are coming online,
Yeah.
you're going to get there
Yeah.
super quick. So, people are expecting this. This is New York City. This is work. It's this is
No, yeah, Cherry.
Yeah, this isn't Ohio. Like, this is a global city, a global metropolis. This is a big deal that this state legalized. You know, we expect it to make money. They expect it to make money, and it will.
Mm. Wow, I love money. Ooh,
Money's great, isn't it?
oh, money is
Yeah.
amazing. Eka dem ta do gen l'argent gen problem. Okay, well, okay, okay. Well, well, that will solve a whole lot of mine.
Mm-hmm.
um Giving now Jean Monde here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all these, technology and Timon Capvini, how do you, or how one should approach product innovation and development in the cannabis market? Because I'm pretty sure, like, you know
Yeah. Well, it depends on what you want to do. My advice is whatever you're doing already and doing well, figure out how to make that work in weed. And then you can innovate from there, right? So for example, how best would a let me just pick somebody I used recently. How best would a artist, right, with a gallery enter the cannabis space, right? They may not necessarily touch the cannabis or grow it, but they could provide a space to consume it, right? And eventually I believe that there'll be licensures that help you, that folks can apply to do just that, where you're an event space. You don't do anything other than host people, and you can be a safe place, a site for people to consume, or for people to sell, or for people to do puff and paints, or whatever the situation is. It doesn't have anything to do with you.
Oh, you can do that just like people wine and whatever. You can puff and paint.
People do puff and paints. People do. But the thing is, you have to, anything that you do right now, just make sure that you are licensed to do it. Because although I know everybody in New York, at least, there's a lot of like illegal shops and a lot of people just doing things because they don't think that they'll ever get caught. But I think that, as things begin to smooth out, or to see a lot of those things shut down. So it's always in your best interest to make sure that you're like doing it the legal way. But
Right way.
but
Fair
yeah,
enough.
but when it comes to product innovation, it's kind of like, yo, what do you already do? And if whatever you do also solves a problem in cannabis, or it facilitates ease of consumption for somebody else, you might want to think about creating that for people. Yoga teachers are teaching 420 yoga now, right? Like they just adopt it to what they were already doing.
Yeah. And hence
Yeah, I've even seen the museum of weed. Someone decided to create a museum experience for people who might not smoke but want to know what it's like. So now, so now they're
I love
buying
it.
tickets to just go and be in a room to look at how one might feel, like what
Wow.
one might see, and they're making money
Wow.
off of it.
Of course.
You get what I'm saying?
Of course. Of course.
Yeah, some people
Now,
have magazines that just tell you about companies and the details that are coming out about
what
this. Yeah, and they're in cannabis. So just
all
that.
right, food for thoughts for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, the connoté dit earlier, yo pa li pa legal
Mm-hmm.
tout côté na across the
Mm-hmm.
country. So, what do you envision for the future of cannabis legalization, right? Both in terms of policy and public perceptions.
With public perception, the more equitable, well, specifically for New York State, I see it being one of the most equitable markets out, right? I think currently 28% of all cannabis businesses are black owned, black or minority owned. And that's pretty powerful. So I foresee for New York State that they'll be the most equitable market. And I also believe that style, that program, that equity first model will probably get replicated in other places. I think in terms of public perception, as more of these businesses come online and more education is readily available, I think people will start to relax some of their older ideas about cannabis, especially if it's solving a problem in their lives, right? Like I said, like
Yes.
I mentioned earlier, we have seniors who have chronic pain, which could possibly
Yes.
be addressed by cannabis. There are people who are challenged with insomnia, challenged with all kinds of other conditions that could possibly benefit from it. And then beyond that, there are people who, want to live cleaner, because hemp also makes clothes. Like it also makes paper.
Yeah.
It makes building material. There's hemp building material. So there is just, it solves problems for a lot of different a lot of different problems. And the more people get the education that explains this to them and they can see it solving something in their lives, they'll relax what they believe about it. So and we should hope that the more that that these legal marks do a good job of cleaning up the illegal things and making sure that whatever people are touching or engaging is safe, we'll see more trust in the industry too.
All right. And I was going to say that, as far as, use, or if you will consume it, I know some veterans, right? Especially war, between Iraq and Afghanistan. Well, the herb has becoming not a favorite, but really helpful.
Yeah.
And aiding them with the pain.
Yep.
Because it could be pretty brutal.
Yep.
And you just need something or to help you to take that edge away. And after all, we human, Kimon. Qui reme souffrir. So, of course, n'ta do, hey, qui ça pour moun faire if you wanna be entrer dans business là. But I think, from we started this topic, pour retourner là-dedans, I think, you share so much with us. And again, m'a dit ça pour moun kap tande. Et pour moun qui pral tande épisode ça, tant que Steph te dit, right? So, market lan ouvri, it's pretty green. Them dit pretty green nan, ça veut dire li vierge, c'est pas ça, right? So, c'est opportunité ça. Et pour entrer dans business ça, pas obligé c'est vendre ou vendre. There are different ways, like on a business non pas jam well, Little by example for that. So for me personally, I highly encourage, especially, jeune kap travail dio, kap seri l'argent juste pour faire jolly. No bagay sa kounye la. You gotta invest your money. 9 to 5 la lonti jan, moi-même découragé à la vie parce que listening to Steph Cap dit de lever à 11h, taking her time, meditate, après café à l'aide. I'm like, oh, Jesus, I just want to grow up when I want to be you. Because if I'm 5 minutes late, ma'am, are you coming? This happened. This happened. I'm like, okay, because I'm like, and mom, and I'm like, I'm going to have a good day. So, and I'm like, why are these people stressing me? So I'm like, so where? But it's because of, her investment or her being an entrepreneurial businesswoman who allow her to do that. And why not us? Mom, Steph, I'm telling you, schedule appointment. I'm right behind you.
Yes.
But pour mon Antoutfranchiz podcast pas dim selfish, so ma poste tout information, and even I will continue to talk about it, right? To educate, because that's a way to help us in the community, especially in New York. 99% qui dans New York c'est haïtien. I don't care what other people say, because we are alive. Et si nous, okay, like we can do have an economic power.
Yes.
Why not?
Absolutely.
Why not?
Absolutely.
It's doable. Because toute l'autre nation fait. Why not? Why can't we? And I'm excited about that. Oh, they're going to hit me at talon kick it. I'm telling you, like, oh yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah, so
Steph, nous allons ouvrir micro pour si gen moun qui pour parler. I'm pour the show Kenny avec aider au besoin poser aux questions. So, and then of course, my Creolita, parce que même cannabis, t'as toujours gen douleur tout côté. So, I'm pretty sure she got like 50 questions.
Sure.
All right, Lady Lane.
Hi, Steph.
Hi.
I want to thank you again for accepting our invitation and being with us tonight. It was really an amazing conversation. I learned a lot, especially in your side of business, because it's a rare thing. I really like. Andrea, I said at the beginning, I don't know too many Haitian that's doing what you're doing.
Oh, wow.
But I think I've seen your work though, even though I didn't even know it was you. Because when you mentioned Josie, because I follow him.
Yeah.
And I've seen some of his stuff, and I think I saw Riva was there.
Yeah. She was at that show too.
Yeah, because I'm like, I remember, when you said, I'm like, I've seen her work without even know that it was her work.
It was me.
It was beautiful, all the costumes and everything.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the dress that Riva wore and the
Yeah.
other two boys that were with her,
Yeah.
the float that she was on, yeah, it
Yep.
was beautiful. It was
Yes.
beautiful. I seen it.
Oh, I'm
I
so
seen it.
glad. Yes, that's the parade. Yay.
Yes, that was beautiful. Anyway, what I was gonna say about the cannabis business,
Mm-hmm.
I think but c'est plus gros travail, non, c'est education.
Yes.
Because parler avec un ancien, bah, si m'ka di kon sa, ancien haïtien de bagay sa, ça son monde nou pral monte, oui.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is to me, I think that's the biggest hurdle.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like, I don't know how do we do that? Because, moun sa, tête yo di.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, this might be, if I put on my nursing hat, like this might be a time for evidence-based practices. Like hearing from people who might already be, who are already Haitian, who might be a part of that demographic, maybe talking about their experience, talking about what their relationship with cannabis is might help that, you know? Because I think that a lot of them are really, they're curious. And the one thing about Haitian people is that, they go off a cosign. If someone says, okay, ça c'est mon pam, they wouldn't lie. This is that and the third. I feel like we take that pretty seriously. And so I would think that maybe that's a tool for us to help shift the mindset around cannabis. But it is an uphill battle. It definitely is mountain, that's for sure.
Yeah, parce que even I can take my mom as an example. Plante de moun sa yo pale de bagay sa, it's like one of the worst thing on earth.
Mm-hmm.
But really, it's a lack of education. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of I would say even propaganda. That's
Yep.
because they really don't know,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of them, even though they don't know, when you try to tell them, "Sa ko ay that si sa ko," you
Mm-hmm.
can tell them nothing.
It's true.
So but again, I agree with you and Adral with we really need to the economic power, and that is really one way to do it. I actually have a really good friend of mine who has a cannabis business in Oklahoma.
Oh wow, see?
Yeah, he has one in Oklahoma. And he runs it. He does pretty well. He actually gave me some what should we call it? The little gummy. I forgot what it's called. Edible
Yeah.
to help me
Just,
sleep.
you see? CBD or something maybe?
Yeah, yes. Because like doctors, I have a lot of pain, so I've had experience with getting things for pain from them,
Mm-hmm.
and I to me I can really speak highly of these things, and
Mm-hmm.
I really think that's something Haitian community of vraiment should get involved with.
Yep.
So I'm completely that, and whatever that we can do to help with that, you have our full support.
Oh, awesome. Well, maybe we'll have another conversation dedicated solely to cannabis. I'd be happy to talk a little bit about that for the community.
Stephanie, Steph, apre m fin fè appointment nan, everything is in order. Pase m pa pral fè bouch mwen pale an pil, mwen mèm avèk koleg nou gon appointment avon next week. I get my, no, because let me tell you, I know my people. I love my Haitian community,
Mm-hmm.
but ou konen, from 30 appointment, get my stuff in order,
Mm-hmm.
then, hey, mwen mèm pa pale an pil, paske it's a good thing, it's a good opportunity, se sak fè m repete l,
Mm-hmm.
Ya de gars gen appointment. Kenny, I know ou vraiment business minded Kenny. M'bral voye link lan ba ou, okay, on her website pour make appointment, at least pour parler, pour gon ide. Ou kompren, Kenny eti frem, nou reme l'argent pil, Steph, I'm not gonna lie to you. E pa nou reme l'argent, no, we like to be in a position where we say good morning. Good morning, good morning. We like that,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And how we do that, right? Is we pose a stamp. So, very, very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead.
No,
Sorry,
no. Just
I get excited.
perhaps, having another conversation about cannabis for the Haitian community in specifics. I think it makes sense.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Même ap gata devan do pase. Oh,
No,
ap
you
wale
just
sou
think
serious.
about all of the susu money someone can put
Do
behind
you,
your
yo, do
license.
you know? Do you know?
Yeah.
Are there
Hey,
that many Asian in the cannabis business?
Are there
That's
many
a good
Haitians?
question.
Yeah.
Not that I know
Never
of.
heard of that because most of the time when people are talking about cannabis, it's almost as if it's an illegal things for us Asians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I know one. Mkono moun mwen ki gen all cannabis shop in
One.
Oklahoma.
Bon ki koze sa.
Yeah,
Imagine
Oklahoma.
yo go
Ba konen no si gen lot de
opportunity for
wa,
sa one.
but personnellement mwen konen.
They probably not talking about it, whatever.
Yeah.
Me men
Mhm.
brale, ma business la, ma promote. Look, listen, okay? Yes.
Yeah, mkonen.
Because the thing is, it's not like we're not using it in the community. We do
Yep.
use it.
Yep. Yep.
We do
Yep.
use it. So, and like I said, the market is green, right?
Yep.
Kenny, I said all that and a day and ladies. Cause ou toujou tade moun, why mte go opportunity? Comment? Bako nou pil bagay longtemps, ou tade moun abdou, why mte go opportunity? Hey, collègue ou tap di mon bagay, oui, moi, something, I don't know, something moi. La t'entre là-dedans, oh, mte ge opportunity, mpa t'entre là-dedans, lè ko sa mta touche tout.
Mhm.
Or I take at one point public stop by stocks or something within the company, whatever. Wè sa mabdou, mwa, pi la yi se te travay là-dedans, yo pa vle. You pas de vle prend
Mhm.
cause you cash
Mhm.
but cash is albati go ka la ka
Mhm.
no pas pas faire politique now. Look what's happening. No, when me ma fait là, I can always go la kai, but in the meantime,
Mhm.
okay, babam situé la, and it's a fact.
Mhm.
For me, après ça, what's going on right now in Haiti, si ça partit non, le son pas boy ici.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not telling you if something is unsure, like, because tout sauf dans la vie, it's never 100%.
Mhm.
At best, it's 99.9%.
Mhm.
With that being said, I mean, invest your money, invest it wisely.
Yeah.
And this is green, this is new,
Mhm.
et la fait comme.
Mhm.
So why not?
Yep.
Quand on a fait restaurant, on a dit yo sèche, nous pas gen grillon, nous pas gen poisson. Why not do that one?
Mhm.
I'm just saying. And that way, you don't just cater to just Haitian, but you cater to everybody
Yep.
within New York or the state that you're in.
Yep.
That's just me.
Yep. I definitely think it's a viable opportunity that at least consider it. Just think about it. And the best piece is, there's some instances where you don't even have to. You can just invest in someone else's.
Yes.
If your friend has a cannabis business that you want to support, or there is a few Haitian people who get together and say, hey, we're gonna open a dispensary of our own. Do you know how many? I feel like the community would get behind that.
Moi-même, m'ta pral faire côté yo fait bal la pour bon côté. Après ça, vin enjoy. What? Vin relax ou après bal la et puis manger au nan mo. Are you kidding me?
Mhm.
Winning. We will be winning. I'm just saying.
She
No,
said
like it's
winning.
important because, like you said, 9 to 5 is not cutting. Multiple
But can it
streams
be
of income is the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
can we sell it in a restaurant or something like that? Like we open a restaurant and then
Mm-hmm.
people come to eat and something like that. So we provide them with a little space aside so that they can go and smoke. Is it something
So,
possible in the US or something like that, or is it
well,
illegal?
yeah. I mean, I think. Is it possible? Is it being done in the U.S.? Yes, right. But I know that there are certain types of licensures that okay that, right? For example, a safe consumption site. Like in order for you to function as a safe consumption site, you have to be licensed to do that. Can a restaurant apply for that? Perhaps. We haven't heard because the market is so green that a lot of this legislature is being done kind of as the market is rolling out. So we don't know yet who would be a good candidate for it. I don't imagine that a restaurant couldn't also double as a safe consumption site. Like you said, you can eat and then you can take cannabis with your dessert downstairs. If
Yeah, something
if
like that.
that,
Yeah.
so I
And,
see that
and
working.
I just thought about something. E ken pat moun wè mdi sa lak vole idem nan, I will sue you. Parce mwen menm son New Yorker, I believe in suing people who got them mal. I just thought about this because I spent some time in South Korea,
Mm-hmm.
right? The Korean, they really into beer avec chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Ouais, plusieurs spots open, yap manje chicken, yap boire bière,
Mm-hmm.
pas vrai? Moi-même, moi, je fais chicken avec cannabis ou bien finger food. Okay,
Mm.
chita, manger, smoke. Yo, m'di ça là, I will sue someone. Okay, you laughing. I just thought
So
about it.
let's you and I, we
Who
can
is
talk
currently in that
about
business right now? are you in the business right now? Are you currently running a cannabis business?
I'm not currently running a cannabis business. I
Okay.
work for the Brooklyn Chamber,
Ah,
and I
okay.
head up their cannabis business development. So
Ah, okay.
essentially,
Okay. So
yeah.
Ou kon sa vle di, Kenny? Ou kon sa vle
yes.
di? La kou...
So
All
she's the
right,
go-to
all right.
girl
Sa
if
ve
I
di,
need to enter that business. Is that correct?
Yes, if you would like to, if
ou
you
baka la gel kon sa, Kenny. Ou go job pou la gel. Ou baka just la gel kon sa, ou just di, oh, education. Ou kompren mwen fwep.
But so I try to be
Education.
general. So go the girl mean that no matter what I want to know about that, she will be the person I need to contact.
if you
Okay.
want to learn a little bit more about like what your options might be in terms of licensures and things like that, I am a point person in Brooklyn. Yes.
So how much is the
There are
license?
other point people in other boroughs, with other agencies, but for me in Brooklyn it is me.
Okay. So do
Yeah.
you guys that have data regarding that business? Let's say upfront costs, capex costs, and profit margin, stuff like that. And also
It
we got to the we got to
Mhm.
the all the laws and regulation related to that. What is the cost associated with all of these?
So there are so you need to set up a meeting with me too, because there
Please.
are you want to become very familiar with the Office of Cannabis Management. Okay, that is the state. They are the ones who wrote the MRTA, which is the Marijuana Regulation Taxation Act, and that is the law that made cannabis legal in this state. So OCM is the final say so on everything, and they do keep statistics on sales. There is currently a report from the OCM chair, the control board, with numbers, figures, and the whole nine, downloadable on their website right now. Okay. So you want to get familiar with that. In addition to that, they have an overview of all of the adult use licensures on their site along with requirements. There is, there is a certain application status that if you qualify as a C applicant, C spelled SEE, and it stands for Social and Economic Equity Applicant. If you were to qualify as a C applicant, your application fee and the fee are 50% off. So if the license fee is $10,000 and the application fee is $3,000, as a C applicant, you would be paying a license fee of $5,000 and a fee of $1,500. Right.
Interesting.
And in order to qualify as a C applicant, you have to either have been charged or done some type of time as a result of a marijuana related offense, or you had to have lived in a neighborhood that was severely impact or disproportionately impacted by like the marijuana prohibition laws. So if you lived in a neighborhood in a certain time where stop and frisk was heaviest, or like any other type of crime like that where they were trying to attack the war on drugs, quote unquote, um you would qualify as a C applicant.
Okay. So
And there's a tool on that website that you can plug in your address and it will let you know.
is there some sort of program so Black people want to enter that business specifically to support them, or also do bank finance those type of business?
Yeah, see, this year you definitely need to talk. So there are maybe like 4 or 5 banks that do, right?
Mhm.
But to your point, a lot of banks federally do not, because federally it's still illegal. So if
Illegal.
you have an FDIC insured bank, they won't carry it, right? There are though other banks, Spring Valley. There is 3 others that do some level of cannabis financing, but the type of business and what stage the business is in might matter. Like you might not be able to find financing anywhere for something that is pre-licensed, right? You might not be able to find startup money for that either, which is why um um folks that do really well really fast in the New York market are people who come in with a lot of liquidity. But the folks who can't manage to wait for the license to come in and then secure a spot, they usually bleed a lot of their money up front. So um I would if I were you, I would really really head on over to OCM's site,
Mm.
and I would become really familiar with that. Um and sign up for their blast. They'll tell you when the dispensary is open. They'll tell you when the licensing window is going to open. And then more importantly, those reports with those figures you were looking for will probably be there as well. Now, I will say about those figures, they're not going to break it down per beverage, like per industry, right? Like there's some people who are in hemp beverages. You might not find figures for specifically that on their
So you mean
website.
beverage with cannabis?
Yes.
Ah,
I
yeah.
mean, yes.
We already done. Okay.
People do that, and you can find them in Whole Foods.
Oh,
But
okay.
that's federally legal hemp,
So
not
what about the
adult use.
price? What about the price? Is there a big difference? Are there still people selling cannabis in the street related to those selling on, let's say, and the business? Is it cheaper on the street still, or is it in the
Well, here's the
business?
thing, the people on the street aren't paying taxes, right? So they can
Yeah.
afford to keep it cheap,
But is it
which
illegal for them to do that
no, it's
with
not
the,
legal for them to do that at all. It's
okay.
you can only in New York State, you can only sell cannabis if you are licensed to do that.
Okay, so therefore, if somebody is selling on the street, that person might get arrested for that because it's illegal to do it without license. Is that correct?
Right. So for example, those storefronts that you're seeing where people are like just selling, they were a corner store on Tuesday and on Friday now they sell cannabis and all that stuff. That's all illegal if they have no license for it.
Okay. So what about the guy on the corner streets?
Well, there are, and this is why again you should visit OCM's website because there are protections under the MRTA. You can have a certain amount of marijuana on you without someone raising an eyebrow that you might be doing something with it, right?
Mm,
But if you are going to, if that man is opening up a table on the corner and just selling cannabis on the corner from his table, that is illegal too.
Yeah, but not necessarily having a table or something like that. Just previous as they used to do previously. You know what I mean? So
Right, in the
I have
legacy market.
marijuana, and then I just go see those guys I know who smoke marijuana
Mm-hmm.
who keep going to this store. I would say, you guys come see me. I would give it to half price.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is it if the police will catch somebody doing something like that, will it get arrested for that? Since is it legal?
My answer is that it is illegal still,
Okay,
right?
it's illegal to do it that way.
To do it that way.
Okay,
Yes, that would be my best guess. Is
okay,
there a more nuanced answer perhaps and you're free to like email OCM and find out?
hmm.
Because again, I'm not OCM. I didn't write the law.
Yeah, I
But
understand.
but at the same time, I would err on the side that yeah, it's illegal. If there's an entire framework to legitimize the sale of cannabis, then I don't think, they'll allow folks to just willingly sell. I mean, part of the understanding is that this market, this legacy market is never going to actually die, in my opinion. Right? Like there's always going to be someone who has a private clientele. They sell directly to them. That might always exist. But I think we're not going to see a landscape that's going to allow for people to kind of be overt with that.
Yeah, but I do think that,
Can
but because the best thing I
Melanie?
was looking for is this type of innovation that you're talking about,
Mhm.
beverage with cannabis or something like that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's almost as if you the same situation with energy drinks, and instead of having to buy some energy drink, you would
Mhm.
buy cannabis related drink.
Mhm.
Something
Mhm.
like that. Is it FDA approved, or is it?
Well, yeah, because they're the for what's on the shelves at Whole Foods and things like that, they're using CBD. They're using hemp. And so that's been federally legal since 2018. Okay, everywhere. So for example, if you wanted to enter cannabis but not get into adult use where people are getting, having psychoactive effects, you want to get into hemp where there's food grade hemp that's allowed. You can buy hemp seeds and add it to your food, right? And in the same way, people use CBD and they add drinks for relaxing, for whatever, and then they're distributed alongside sometimes liquor, right, as an alternative to liquor. Sometimes it is there at the grocery store as an alternative to wine, right? So it's just when well, yes. And so I feel like, or as a specialty craft beverage. So they kind of end up sitting in that space. But that is usually produced with hemp. I have not seen a THC drink in a grocery store or in any kind of store like.
Well, Monsieur Deoge Micro, m'a connaît si vous avez une question, m'dapon une dernière question avant que nous fermions podcast.
Et m'a dit, m'voye email là ba ou, so please, I ask that, you set up an appointment.
Yeah, so you
So,
can get the rest of your
I
question
wanted
answered.
besoin on a business là, l'aime besoin pour ton 50,000, 60,000 pour me dire, do you remember?
Oh,
We'll
você
put
você tá
you on.
tá le
All right.
contraire, madame.
No, I'm on
E
it.
muito
Oh,
bom
I'm
demais,
on
Sarah.
it. All right.
Ready?
Wonderful, thanks.
Bonsoir, bon, docteur avec un peu d'attention. Question nan li parti kon sa, étant donné que gen côté que espace qui vend alcool, bon, tu pas qu'à consommer alcool dans espace là. Que veni gon licence pour vendre alcool là. Gen espace tout ou gon licence et pour vendre et pour consommer, pour comme si pour consommer dans espace là. Est-ce que même gens pour cannabis là, ou pas ta ka gen un plan business tant qu'on yon sorte de bar mais qui offre un espace côté que le monde fumer ou bien consommer quelque soit dérivé de cannabis. Est-ce que c'est même genre lié? C'est question ça même bien.
Yes, the answer is yes, but the license in order for you to do that isn't open yet. So there are plans for safe consumption sites. That's what it would be called, right? Essentially, someone can enter your space. You can let them smoke. You can let them, bring their own things to consume, and you would be a legal place for people to do that. Now, they do also have retail licenses that have limited ability for people to smoke on the premises. That isn't typical. That isn't typical. And I think that ability also is connected to different types of licenses. So you have a micro business license that allows you to grow your own cannabis, sell your own cannabis. People can use it there, but that is a different type of license, right? So to answer again, yes, it is possible, but the type of license you need in order to do that isn't open yet. You can still prepare for it.
Merci. Okay, thanks.
You're very welcome.
OK. Merci à Stéphanie Pierre. Pour tant ça, il était ban nous aujourd'hui. En toute franchise, the podcast, the platform is, li fait pour but ça. Pour nous kage moun tan kou yo. Pour exposer yo plus et nous merci en pile pour ça. Et merci à tout le monde qui était là avec nous, merci à tout le monde qui parle des podcasts là. Tant pis pas oublier suivre nous en toute franchise sur toute plateforme yo, OK, pour nous grandir. Toujours songer partager podcast là aller nous live avec nos amis, en famille, OK. Merci à tout le monde qui était là, pas guère toute franchise sans nous. Tant pis, prends soin santé mentale nous, veillez sur une autre, OK. Nous pas attendre pour nous avoir encore pour un autre podcast. Merci à tous.
Steph?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Me too. As I said it before, I am humble. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for giving us Haitians in the diaspora the opportunity. And as I stated, moi voyez your website, so I encourage people to go and schedule an appointment and find out whether que ou son journaliste ou son singer imbral publier your information within the HMI, right? Because yeah, they do need branding, just like my colleague and I we do. So nous tout nan lo a.
Yeah.
That's okay. Parce que now kounya nou konon moun ki ka fel, ki bon la dan. So now nou gon devoir, right? Now nou pa ka di, oh, we don't know. Because now we know. And as far as, pou fè business, tan ap fè sou, ou bien sere kob, albati, Haïti, whatever, then tout petit nou, se la liye, tout sa nap fè se la liye. Why not doing it here?
Yep.
And again, the market print. This is the perfect opportunity.
Yep.
And on top of that, nous gon moun nous ka parler langue nous.
Yep.
Ka comprendre ça n'a dia ka répondre nous. Non, li important.
Yeah.
Pas vrai? Cause moun nan comprendre ça dia. So, again, the podcast is always open for you anytime, and I'm hoping I will follow up with you, of course.
Yeah.
So we can really focus on the cannabis business part, because I think it's super duper important.
Oh yeah.
Right? And it's an opportunity, especially pour moun qui fait vidéo, qui commence à faire comme, hey, même si yo deux mettent ensemble, yo trois mettent ensemble, hey, and that's how we start building economic power. Vous comprenez? Pas bon ici. Et l'autre côté nous y. So
Absolutely.
I cannot wait to have you back. It was such a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for being you, your authentic self. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for representing us in such a positive way. Thank you.
Thank you.
And on behalf of women, especially toute femme la caille, merci.
Thank you, ladies, so much. No, thank you. I really do appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. So we'll see you soon.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.
Good night, ladies. Have a great night.
Maman informée, fini informé. Antoutfranchiz, maman informée, fini informé. Antoutfranchiz.